Hello and welcome to episode 92 of the DaebakCast. This is a weekly podcast where the three of us come together each week to talk about K-pop and whatever's current in the industry. This episode we got two reviews, one of which being kind of special, which I'm excited for. One of them being something brand new, which I'm sure you're probably anticipating our review for as well.
The overlay kind of spoils it, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways. So you already knew what the first one was. Anyways, and then the second two topics are actual topics this time. We're trying to get back into doing more like discussion topics and stuff like that, like we used to do. When we
also, there aren't any albums to review because everyone. It's like single album season. There's so many single albums I want to talk about, but
yeah.
I think there's one single album that all of us want to talk about in particular, but. Wow. I mean, we really could have, but...
Yeah, but...
That's fine.
Anyways.
We'll talk about it during releases.
I guess I won't delay any further. As always, I'm joined by Nate.
You make my life complete. I'm pretty sure I've used that before, but I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
It's special.
It works. It's okay.
And you already wasted the queso line from last
Yeah, exactly. I already
week.
wasted the queso line last week, so
yeah.
I can't use that.
Also, as always, I'm joined by Andrew, who usually has three things, and also I noticed his background is actually black this week. Entirely black.
Number one. Thank God. Okay, but the Red Sox beat the Yankees in their ALDS series, which has led us to a ultimate showdown between the Red Sox and the Astros. And Jacob and I have a bet going on that the winner of the series, or depending on who wins the series, the loser has to wear the opposite team's hat. That being said,
on the podcast.
On the podcast. That being said, I really don't mind.
I don't mind either because I own a Red Sox hat already.
Yeah. No,
actually, I think I wore it in a lot of the first episodes we recorded. So.
Yeah. So like the early podcast episodes I remember, and I have an old Astros hat somewhere, but I don't think it fits me anymore, and I don't know where it is. So
it's fine. It'd be really funny you wearing like a baby Astros hat.
I'll have to find it first. Again, that was like the last time I saw it was like 2 moves ago, so it's probably gone by now. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna be a great series, and there's a chance that if it goes to six games, I might go to Game 6. I might go.
That'd be so cool.
I might YOLO it and just like take a train up to Boston and go see the game because I might have to, so we'll see. Number two, I recently saw the Ryan Gosling movie First Man about the Apollo moon landings, and Ryan Gosling was playing Neil Armstrong. Great movie. I saw it in IMAX, and just like my mind was just blown when they got to the moon and everything, and like they really used the IMAX aspect ratio to its full degree. So I was really happy about that. And number three. I know I talk about shoes way too much on this show, but I feel like this has to be one of the most important like shoe W's I've taken.
I mean, shoes are literally your life, so
yeah, shoes are literally my life. But
until K-pop shoes happen, then yeah, sure, this works.
I had to pay way too much for this, unfortunately, but I was able to secure a pair of Frieza Adidas Young One shoes in my size.
I gotta cut you off for a second though. For how much you like shoes, you don't pronounce it right. You don't pronounce it Adidas.
No, it's
Adidas.
No, unless you're like really German. Like only Germans pronounce it Adidas. Like theoretically, it is supposed to be Adidas because
I was gonna say that's the correct pronunciation.
Yeah, because it's named after Adi Dassler, but most people just say Adidas.
Yeah,
and besides, I'm just going by Run DMC. Run DMC calls it my Adidas. So anyway, yeah, I was super happy I was able to get a pair of these. I mean, I had to pay resale on it, but I'm just really happy. I know you guys appreciate the Dragon Ball Z-ness of it more than I would, but I'm still happy, and there's way more coming out, so I just hope my luck continues. Also, I guess just a fourth sort of thing to mention. We still have our giveaway going on. I don't think we got any comments.
No, I think we actually lost a sub on Friday. So
I'm sorry. But, yep, like I said, This is still up for grabs.
So we got a lot of Twitter interaction, but nobody actually followed the instructions.
Yeah, so I might have to clarify instructions or simplify instructions. So yeah, you can still win these BTS ID cards and this awesome pencil case that is done by Reitz, aka Alpha Sasuke on Twitter. So we have the instructions laid out on our Twitter, and it's in the last week's video if you wanted to enter and potentially win this, because I will literally send this anywhere in the world, as long as anywhere in the world isn't Antarctica or something like that. I don't know, if you're like a random climate researcher living in Antarctica listening to our podcast, I'm sorry, I don't know how does mail even get to Antarctica now that I think
you can mail stuff there.
You can mail stuff to the North Pole.
Yeah.
It probably costs a shit ton to mail it there.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, but we'll figure that if someone from Antarctica actually listens to our podcast, let us know. But, yep, still up for grabs. And that's my 3 things. Jacob, do you have your blown out?
I do. However,
Hashtag
I'm just not going to do it anymore. It's been too long.
Hashtag blown out. Blow no note. That's what I just said.
Hashtag there exists a blown out such that I'm not going to read out of it anymore. Because, honestly, go and buy blown out. Buy both copies. Although I need to get the Korean version still.
I was going to say, you don't even have both copies. You can get it when you're in Korea.
Yeah. Anyways, without further ado, we can get into the first review, which is NCT. Irregular.
127. NCT 127. You got to clarify. There's more than one NCT.
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah, but remember, nobody knows what NCT is, so it's
yeah, that's
fine.
True. NCT 127's Irregular album. And to start it off, we have City 127. And this, along with a couple other songs on the album, sound like a SHINee song with NCT rappers featuring.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Honestly,
I love...
actually, I'll just say it later.
You'll save it.
Go on.
But yeah, I was just say, I love the vocal effects during the singing. There's some great harmonies. And I actually liked the whistle. That I thought it added a nice touch to this song.
You could just say this as a general sort of thing for the album, but I'm just kind of, because NCT is kind of known just for their rappers. To be completely honest, everyone, maybe it's just because SM's not known for having rappers at all that people kind of forget.
Well, yeah, and
they're good.
Well,
so
yeah, and their singles have all been hip hop,
yeah,
except for Touch. Every single one of them has been hardcore hip hop.
Yeah, so it's kind of a surprise that it feels like 90% of this album is just almost focused exclusively on vocals to some degree. So yeah, it was a really shocking sort of direction for them to go in, but I enjoyed it. This one was produced by the world famous Grammy Award winning Stereotypes. So
which explains what sounds like SHINee.
Yeah, which explains a lot of things on this album. Honestly, just a lot of really good production. So yeah, the piano beat is great on this. And again, I always applaud the Stereotypes for being able to work like chameleons and tailor their production style to each of the groups. Whether they're working with Western artists, whether they're working with K-pop, they're always good at working in conjunction as opposed to taking over the song necessarily. And yeah, and again, I really enjoyed it. It's a great intro track, and again, I love that they're showing NCT's just really good at showing us different sides, and nothing's ever really around long enough to get stale. So I really enjoyed just the direction this entire album went with, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, for me, it almost feels like some kind of successor to Yesterday on their last Empathy album, NCT U, or NCT 2018.
There's a lot of songs that feel there's a lot of songs in this album that definitely feel similar in that vein, right?
Yeah, and that's definitely a compliment, because Yesterday was it's one of my favorites, easily one of my favorite songs on the Empathy album. So yeah, I was glad to see this sort of style. And I love the R&B style vocals, but that's definitely something that's sort of a trademark of the Stereotypes, is that they really love going back to this sort of 90s, early 2000s R&B. So I thought it was a really, really good way to start the album out.
Yeah, same. Next we have Regular. We'll talk about both Korean and English versions here. This is the title track. So yeah, this is going back to their like hip hop style singles, kind of throwing touch out the window. I think it's their second worst single after Fire Truck. It's not nearly as bad as Fire Truck.
Yeah, no, I didn't hate this as much as
it doesn't like hit the hype levels that like Cherry Bomb or Limitless hit. And I really like Touch actually, and I hope they do more of that style. The MV is kind of ridiculous. It's just like so, I don't know, just all over the place. But I think the choreo is really good. And then the English version's just a much, much worse version of the song because the lyrics are atrocious. But other than that, it's okay. It's one of the weakest songs on the album for sure, which is funny because I think the weakest songs on the album are the hip hop songs.
Like yeah, which is an interesting sort of take.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, but I do think it's good. Compared to everything else on this album, which is like utterly amazing, it's a little weak.
Yeah, I'd say that the Korean version ended up saving it a bit, not necessarily just because of our familiarity with the lyrics or just like the content of the lyrics necessarily. It just kind of feels like not all of them are comfortable rapping or singing in English just yet, so just like the flow of it's kind of off, and it's understandable. I'm sure they probably only like spurred the English version on them recently once they were able to secure the Jimmy Kimmel appearance. So I mean, it's an interesting marketing strategy for them. It clearly says something about SM's intentions that they released the English version of the song first, and they debuted before even going on any like M Countdown or like Music Bank or any other music shows in Korea. They debuted the song in America first. So again, that's very telling of what SM wants to do with NCT from now on. NCT wants their, or SM basically wants their slice of the BTS pie. It's very clear by making this type of move. And I mean, granted, they've been burned before. They've tried to get Boa into the U.S. market. They've tried to get Soshi into the U.S. market with varying or middling success. But maybe a group, again, NCT already seems to have an established fan base over here in the U.S. and this type of music, or I feel like the decision to make this like sort of like a Latin infused trap song might be why they sort of went with, or why they thought of going with an English version first, and foremost, just because I feel like this is clearly inspired by the type of music that's coming out here in America lately, and most specifically like the stuff that Cardi B is putting out. Like it's straight up like inspired by Cardi B's I Like That. So yeah, it's something that's obviously going to do well in the American market. So that's definitely why they decided to release it here in America first. That being said, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put it as like their best single, but I don't hate it exactly. Yeah. If anything, again, I do, like I said before, I do appreciate NCT's SM's willingness to make NCT truly an experimental group where nothing is ever really touched upon more than once, or just it always stays fresh, which is a nice aspect of it. And that's my one complaint when it comes to K-pop, is that a lot of groups just stagnate over a while. So I don't really have that problem with NCT. Obviously, I guess probably the weakest part of it would probably be the chorus. Just it doesn't really go anywhere, and it's something that's definitely exacerbated by the English version, where I feel like the flow is just completely dead in that version. That being said, I really loved the visuals of it. And again, I know it's kind of ridiculous and just like really over the top even for a hip hop style song, but I love the visuals, especially that one part with like Market and Taeyong when they're doing like their rap interlude, and it's just straight up like they went straight up La La Land with like all these like random like light points of light in the background, and it's like all this CG stuff and like fast moving cameras and everything. So it was really cool. It was a really cool music video that they were able to put together, and I still love that they were able to secure a performance on Jimmy Kimmel, because that's huge. Again, like getting, if it's just BTS doing it from now until the end of time, K-pop's never gonna break, because they're gonna get sick and tired of one group doing it over and over again. So it's a sign of good things to come, honestly, that that SM's willing to put NCT out there like that.
Yeah, so when I first heard the song with the English version coming out first, I was like, I honestly, like, straight up, I hated this song. Like, I like absolutely hated it, and I even said in Discord it's a bad song. Like, I just didn't like it. Like, just the generic. It just seemed like a generic hip hop song that I've heard 100 times, and like, what made it worse was it had even worse lyrics than like their songs normally do.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not here for it. However, the Korean version of the song I think is much better, and I think it saves it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like significantly saves it, because I don't know. I haven't looked at like what the translations are on the Korean lyrics. I don't know if they're actually better.
They're
like,
better. They're a little better. Yeah.
But yeah, like I think the Korean version served it a lot better, and so yeah, that being said, I'm still not a huge fan. I still would agree it's like one of their worst. So yeah, I think this was like, honestly, like, just pick any other song on this album to be the title track.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you on that, just because, not necessarily because I think this one's bad, it's just that a lot of the album tracks on this are just insanely good. So
yeah,
again, I feel like a lot of it was just their marketing push to get them in America, and I don't think like a central R&B song is what's gonna help them break into that market. So
yeah. Next we have Replay at 1:27 p.m. And this is a deep house song.
The Shiny song.
It's
a cover of a Shiny song.
It's a cover of the Shiny song.
Slash the actual
Nuna no Moyepa.
Slash the time of day or time on the clock. I don't know.
But this is a deep house song, and I was really happy to hear that. But it's cool because like the openings and the bridge are like almost a ballad. Which like I thought was a really cool way to intro into a deep house song. Vocals on the song are amazing. The synths obviously on this whole song are just exactly what I want, exactly the type of music I love listening to. So this, along with one other song, are my favorite song. I actually couldn't pick. But yeah, I loved everything about the song.
Same. I mean, you didn't need to tell me that London Noise produced it for me to be able to tell that London Noise produced it. I'm just like, the first time I heard the drop, I was like, that's London Noise. This is totally a song I could see them trying to market here in America, and I think this should have been title track. I want this song to get an MV so bad, just because I think the choreography for this would be insane. Like, just house choreography is just awesome in general. So, just like, man, they're really killing it with just like all the producers they're getting on this one album. So we'll get into that later even more. But they do. London Noise does a good job of sort of using, I think, NCT 127's signature traits over their past few songs, or over their singles, has been like the group chorus vocal sort of thing. We've heard it in Limitless, we heard it in Cherry Bomb. So
I think that's an SM strength.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah,
They make good use of that in this, and like it's something that definitely fits for a deep house style. And again, just like the vocals on this song are just great, which again, it's really weird for me to sort of praise the vocals as opposed to just the rapping when it comes to a 127 song, because I feel like 127 is always the one that's going to stick to, or at least when it first started out, 127 was just the one that stuck to like hip hop, always. And yeah, it's cool to see just how versatile that they're willing to make the groups, and again, just they're not going to sort of box them into one style necessarily, because again, with how many members cross over between the groups, because I mean, we're eventually going to get more Dream members into 127 sooner or later. So yeah, it's good to just keep them just nimble and versatile in terms of the styling concept of the songs.
Yeah, so like this is like instantly out of the playbook of the Shiny's Story of Light album. Like if this were on there, would not have like stood out. Not that it wouldn't have stood out because it's not good, but it would have fit right in, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I really, really like this. I think this is definitely one of my favorites on the album for sure. And I think this should have been the single that they promoted, because I think this would have stuck with Americans, and it's really good. And also, it's just like, I feel like this is still a marketable song, like anywhere, Korea, America. You know,
definitely.
you know. Whereas I feel like Regular is like, it's kind of polarizing, to be honest.
Yeah,
I feel like it's going to be when you use that type of hip hop, I guess.
Yeah.
Not everybody's into it. Like, I'm personally not, but like some people, like, they're perfectly fine with that kind of thing. So yeah.
They've never given NCT more than one music video though, or more than one single, correct? Oh, I mean, outside of like
outside of 2018, which had 50 music videos.
That's different. Yeah.
But no,
that's
they
different.
always just do one.
Yeah, that's why it'd be nice. I mean, like, maybe they'll promote that. Maybe they'll promote Replay alongside Regular when they do their rounds on the Korean music shows. But yeah, I'd just be so happy if they gave this the proper music video treatment and everything.
Yeah. Next is Knock On. Speaking of SHINee, this is definitely another song that gives off SHINee vibes. The vocal styles are just like straight out of SHINee's playbook. And it's just like a really chill song. So yeah, I definitely liked this song a lot too.
Yeah, again, just their vocals are to die for. Seriously,
Yep.
Again, I just love how, like, so far in the album, no two songs have sounded alike, which I do pray. And some people are kind of like, oh, they like groups staying with a particular sound, but I do love that, again, that experimental or willingness to experiment and give different sounds for this one group. So, which is why I guess there's an element, there's a freshness to them, even though it's just otherwise it would sound like a standard sounding R&B track, but just there's something about when NCT 127 does it that just definitely new or unique to it. So I do really appreciate that aspect.
Quick note, they performed Comeback as their other song.
Oh, come on. Replay needs love. There's gonna be so many people that aren't gonna listen to that song.
It also confused the hell out of me because I was like, yes, it's their comeback. What
Comeback.
song did they perform? Well, it just said Comeback. I was like, yeah, it's their comeback. What's the song? And I was like, oh yeah, this song called Comeback.
So for Knock On, I really enjoyed this because this like went just dove right into the R&B style, and like Andrew said, like their vocals are so good on this song. I think in particular Jaehyun, I think his vocals stood out the most for me. And I think his vocal performance was really, really great on the song. Like, not that the other members weren't really amazing as well. His voice stood out the most for me.
You know, I'm just realizing we probably all like this song because it's essentially NCT 127 doing a Velvet track, if you really think about it.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's definitely why we like it.
Speaking of songs we like, next is No Longer. So now two of my favorite NCT songs are ballads. I don't know if I like it better than the Station song. I can never remember the name of that song. Cooper and Victoria will correct me. What is that? Do you remember, Jacob? The Station ballad?
The You Station song?
That was on 2018. Yeah, Timeless, that's right.
Oh, it's Timeless?
It is Timeless, I think, yeah.
I didn't realize that was a Station song.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Station song. And it was because it was only 3 of them.
Yeah, I love Timeless. I think it's a great song.
Yeah, so that was like one of, if not my favorite NCT song, and now we have No Longer, which is another one of, if not my favorite NCT songs. They need to make NCT the ballad right now, because
NCT the ballad. I love
that.
Yeah,
exactly.
That should be the name.
They should just call it NCT the ballad. But yeah, the vocals, the instrumentals, just like literally everything about the song is amazing. Like, there's nothing wrong with this song at all. Like,
nothing.
It's one of the best ballads of the year by far.
Oh, like we kind of need to amend our like ballad / acoustic of the year something, so that we can include groups that do ballad tracks as opposed to just exclusively ballad singers, because this needs some type of recognition. Because
just do ballad song of the year.
Yeah, basically, because I mean,
yeah, we should.
There's an all-star production team on this between freaking Andreas Oberg and his usual crew of people and freaking Esna. So there's
I bet Esna was the one singing on the demo. I guarantee
100%. And you can tell like, you can feel Esna on this track because, again, she, for those who don't know, aren't familiar with Esna, she's worked with like Mamamoo prior to sort of being a freelance and working with some type SM artists from time to time, and her like musical background is jazz, and just it just oozes like this jazzy vibe. Again, just how they sort of orchestrate the stand up bass and the like the soft brushes. They lay down the beat very just very subtly, whereas the piano just does a very good job of following the melody and the vocal line just so well. And I'm just blown away by the. I made this tweet where I literally just said that, like, if you told me that NCT 127 was gonna make one of the best ballads of the year, I would have laughed at you so much. Like, cause NCT 127 of all groups,
they made Fire Truck.
Yeah, they made Fire Truck, and now they're putting out like the best ballad. You kidding me? I don't know. Yeah. I was just floored when I first listened to this song, and I'm very rarely just taken aback when it comes to like anything K-pop, because very rarely is anything just like groundbreaking or new at this point. But
I didn't get that because I saw you listened to it before me, and I saw your tweets and stuff. But yeah, just hearing it, I knew what to expect because Timeless is so good.
Yeah.
That I was like really expecting it to be good, but it was still better than I thought it. I expected it to be.
And I just wanted to say I'm just really happy with just like, you could definitely see the progression that all of the NCT like subunits have made over the past like 2 or 3 years. Just they've definitely become more well-rounded than they were when, like, again, they're not sort of like boxing them into one sort of style, which again it's only going to help them become better musicians and better artists in the long run.
Yeah, so like you guys pretty much said everything I wanted to say, though. Like, really what stands out is they're very good at their, I guess, emotional delivery of, you know, the notes, the the melody, the lyrics. Everything just comes out very again, just sincere. Like, I feel like that's one thing that SM artists again like excel at. Like, you know, Taeyeon, Jonghyun, they have many singers like Baekhyun, Luna. Yeah, like they all have very good singers who are very good at, I guess giving it their own personal appeal to it. So yeah, I thought this song turned out amazing.
Yep. Next we have interlude, regular to irregular. So this is just like, it's literally an interlude. The instrumentals are pretty cool. It goes from being like just strings and like it's almost like poetry into this like weird, cool hip hop beat. Like, I liked it at least. But yeah, there's not too much to say. It's not a full song or anything.
Not even joking. This might be my favorite song on the entire album, period. No, because it's so cool. Okay, it's produced by Hitchhiker, the guy that makes all like the crazy shit.
That explains everything.
That explains everything.
I was like, it was like a poetry ballad that goes into this weird experimental hip hop beat.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh my god, this is awesome. Just like that really like emotional like piano ballads part, which I love because they're all speaking in their like native languages and everything. So you're hearing like Korean, like Chinese, like Japanese, all that sort of stuff. So it sounds like straight up like an anime like soundtrack or like something out of an anime or whatever. It's just like super emotional. Again, it's a great track that follows No Longer. Again, just going back to how Jacob was talking about like the emotion that they sort of deliver on this, and just like the simplicity of it, despite the simplicity of it, literally like the instrumental of that section just literally just being a piano and a violin, there's just so much emotion and build up despite there being like no lyrics and all. And I'm just like, man, this is awesome. And I don't know if how much I need to like throw at their Patreon, but this definitely seems like something that the React to the K guys can do a cover of, because it's almost just like an instrumental track. The transition's insane. It's just like all these like backwards vocals and like weird like instrumental sounds and everything. It's just so creative. And again, I like they're going for like this entire like concept about like, I don't know, just like dreams and all that sort of thing, and just like you could definitely I love the theming of this entire album, to be completely honest. So it's just really cool to see them do this interlude, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, this is one of my favorite tracks in the album as well, just because I feel like if you want to show somebody what the album is like, you can kind of just show them this interlude.
That's true. You could.
It's just emotional ballads and then like hip hop. So
yeah, like basically. Also the name like Regular to Irregular, it kind of like captures.
Yeah, it fit really well.
Like
the actual sound,
the actual concept of the album. And yeah, like the all the talking and over the piano, which then sort of blends into this electronic beat towards the end. I thought it was a really, really cool and also like really seamless transition. So yeah.
Yep. Next we have My Van, which is so this is another hip hop song. This is a piano focused instrumental. Honestly, I think this is the weakest song on the album by far. The chorus is like pretty meh, and the verses are just okay. Like I think it's some of their weaker verses too. So that's what I was saying. Like the hip hop songs in this album were the most disappointing parts of the album, where like everything else was so much better. Which is just not what you'd expect from NCT.
I actually like this one just solely for the fact of its positioning, that it kind of feels like a sonical extension of Regular to Irregular. Just it's kind of got that quiet sort of vibe, but there's just like these random ass like sonar pings going on in the background, is sort of like laying down the beat and everything. It's just a really cool song instrumentally, despite even if the rapping is sort of just like lackluster to some degree. I do really appreciate the uniqueness of the instrumentals that they decided to go for on this one.
For me, I didn't mind the rap. I thought the beat was really annoying.
So that's why we have three completely different perspectives.
Tick. That's it.
I didn't notice the instrumentals at all because I didn't like the rapping that much. I was so focused on like this is pretty mediocre rapping.
I didn't notice the rapping because I was just so focused on the instrumentals.
And then Jacob liked the rapping and hated the instrumentals.
Like
go fish.
Like it's just, I don't know, they were just annoying to me. Like
yeah,
like it's like watching freaking Peter Pan and the crocodiles coming behind you. I'm like, dude, like no.
Tick tock tick.
Yeah, but really fast. Tick 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 tick. Or no, like the rabbit in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I was just saying you're thinking of the rabbit. Yeah. Okay, next is Comeback. So this is a Korean version of the song from Chain. And like usual for me, the original sounds normal and something sounds off with this version. So I would prefer listening to the version I've heard
Japanese version
a lot more. But it's such a fantastic song anyway that like it's not bad. It's just I'm used to the Japanese version, so it tripped me up hearing the Korean version.
Yeah, I mean that was sort of the same way when Soshi released Talk Talk, or I forget what the original Japanese.
Yeah, Marepa. It's what's it called? Hold on a second.
I forget.
Boomerang.
Yeah, Boomerang.
Boomerang.
But,
okay.
Yeah, I didn't mind necessarily the change. I just really love this song, and again, I feel like this one definitely encompasses the is this NCT or Shiny mentality that we have going throughout the entire album, and it's not surprising that we never got to review Chain, unfortunately. I think we just kind of skipped it. But I guess I'd say just like it's not a surprise that they went with this kind of song for a Japanese release, considering how popular Shiny was over there. So yeah, I still enjoyed it.
Considering considering it's just a rehash of Shane, like honestly, I think I do like the Korean version better. And like if I didn't take into consideration that it's just like a remake of a song we've already heard, this would probably be my favorite on the album. Like overall, like I really, really love this style, and I think the production, I think the I think the Korean lyrics actually work really well, so I'll probably start listening to this version instead. So yeah.
It's a pretty seamless transition. It's not as jarring as what we're thinking about with Regular's English and Korean versions.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Hey, and don't get me wrong, most of my comments sounded negative because I was saying I prefer the Japanese version, but I love this song regardless.
I think also another thing is I can understand a significantly more than amount of Korean than I can Japanese. So like
I'm the opposite. That's why.
Like as K-pop fans, we're always like, why do you need to understand the entire song? It's not that we don't like to hear it. It's that it doesn't matter as much as people make it out to be.
So Nate, you're gonna yell at me if I listen to the Korean version as opposed to the Japanese version because it's the wrong version.
It's the original
of the
version is the thing you should listen to, and you listen to the wrong versions.
I listened to both
of Soshi and Uju Sonyo songs. Next we have Fly Away, and this kind of closes the book on Shiny-esque songs.
Yeah.
This is once again another like the vocals are like straight out of Shiny's style. I really like the subtle guitar in this song. That stood out. It didn't stand out to me because it's subtle, but it caught my ear. And so I definitely enjoyed that part of this song.
I'd say the vocals were the only thing I really liked necessarily, but it just kind of pales in comparison to the other amazing like vocal showcases we got on the album. So it kind of seems redundant to a degree. So yeah, that's all I really have to say.
Yeah, for me, I actually like the song quite a bit. I looked at it more as like a pop song than a ballad, personally.
Okay.
Like, so yeah, like I thought the chorus was catchy. I thought the vocals were great. I think they've definitely proven themselves on this album with that kind of thing.
Yep.
All the members really, like, cause on Empathy we more heard from like the actual like vocalists, and on this we actually got to hear I guess more vocal prowess from the rest of the members. So yeah, I'm glad we got a lot of these more vocal heavy songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this song actually didn't have the rappers in it at all, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, really?
It didn't have a rap.
Yeah,
it
didn't have a rap break whatsoever.
So unless they're saying, I don't know all their voices. So
I just figured they all sang.
Yeah, maybe.
They
Let
might.
us know in the comments, by the way.
But yeah, there was no rap at all for the song, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And finally, we have Run Back to You. So for this song, I really like the rap parts and I really like the chorus. But the first drop is like not great, and that really annoying synth sound does not need to be in the song.
Yeah.
It ruins the song. Like, this song could be so good if that wasn't in there. And that's what, like, the first drop's not really good, but then the second drop, that goes away and it's a lot better. Like, that the song itself is so good if that synth wasn't there.
Yeah, the instrumentals in that section were just a mess, just because it's too distracting. But which otherwise would have been a great song. But yeah, just sort of, just it's a miss.
Yeah, for me, it was like, it's just kind of like, I didn't mind the drop. I thought that actually turned out like kind of fine. I think I didn't like the sections before that with like the rattlesnaking hi-hats, like. I can't really do it like this.
Yeah, you don't like that.
Like I just can't.
Trap
It's just
hi-hat.
it distracts me from the rest of the song, and it's just like annoying to me. But I do like the chorus. However, like after the chorus where it just like goes into the deep voice sort of part, I wasn't really crazy about. Felt like a little cheesy, I guess, in my opinion. So yeah, this one's also kind of a miss for me as well.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. So we will do our score now. So for me, despite the fact that I thought the rap song like Regular and My Van were like pretty meh, I gave it a 6 out of 6 for music because almost everything else on the album was just utterly amazing. And then I gave it a 2 out of 3 for concept because it doesn't feel like a 10 out of 10 because it's kind of weird because it's like I'm merging my points because of different reasons, but like it's a 9 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's partially because of the concept and partially because of the rap songs. So it would be like a 5.5 and a 2.5. And then a 1 for bias point, obviously. So 9 out of 10 overall.
Yeah.
I gave same score, just flipped the points around because while I did enjoy it, it's not a perfect album musically. However, I did really enjoy the music video and the choreography, and this album cover is just sick. So I really enjoyed that. So I had to give it a perfect score on that end, and obviously I'm giving it a bias point because I love NCT. So yeah, surprisingly, I did not expect to give this a higher score than what I gave to 2018 Empathy. So I
gave 2018 an 8?
Yeah, I gave. I remember.
I think I gave it a 10. I think.
I gave it a 10 too.
Yeah, I gave the lowest score when it came to Empathy, but I'm surprised at how much I ended up enjoying this album. Just because, at first I was just like, oh, I'm not a big fan of Regular, and then I was just blown away by the album tracks. Though I do say, I'd like for it to be maybe a bit more like spread out or balanced, because it would be just in terms of the music. The first half definitely just sort of blew everything away, while the second half was kind of a bit lackluster. So I would like more balance in that sort of sense. But otherwise, it's a great album, and it's definitely it's NCT 127. It's one of NCT 127's best albums just in general. So.
Yeah, so for me, I gave it a 5 out of 6 for music. I like the songs I really liked. The songs I liked, I really, really loved. And then the songs I didn't like, I was like, this is kind of annoying. I don't want to listen to this ever again, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I gave it a 5 out of 6 just because, despite not liking the songs I didn't like quite a bit, the songs I did like, I really loved a lot. So I didn't want to take off too many points for that. And then concept, I gave a 2 out of 3. I do really love the album art, and I think like for example, like I've seen their stage outfits. I think they look pretty cool. And though the music video was kind of just like, it didn't really blow me away or anything, so I gave it a 2 out of 3 for concept, and then 1 out of 1 so for bias point. So I gave it an 8.
Yep. So I
just feel
a 9.
Well, yeah. Okay. I just feel like Empathy was a lot better than this. However, I do think that the songs on here are like fantastic and definitely deserve a listen. So I still recommend it highly.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, some of the songs on this album are above Empathy, but like overall the quality of Empathy is a little bit better. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 998 is a 9, so it does get truly Daebak seal of approval.
Shiny.
And it is shiny. It is very. There's a lot of shiny.
It is very
shiny about this.
If you enjoy Shiny, you will very much enjoy this.
If you're a fan of Shiny and you don't really listen to NCT because you're not into hip hop or whatever, check this album out. It's very good.
Yep. All right. Topic 2. Sorry for the hard cut. All right. Anyways, so for this, we're gonna be starting like a new segment, which is I guess we're calling what's it?
Auto reverse.
Andrew came up with it like right before we started recording, so me and Nate had just heard it for the first time, though we knew what we were doing for the segment. Anyway, so basically what we're doing is we're going to be going back and sort of reviewing some older albums that we really love, but we haven't gotten the chance to talk about just because they're from years ago, from like years before we started the podcast.
Some people might not have been born when these albums came out.
No, nobody's listening to this that was born in 2009. But yeah, Jacob and I did this
2007.
Did this already. Or, well, no, before this album was 2008.
2007. It's their debut.
The repackage?
This is 2008.
This is
2008, buddy.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, see, I was right. Get your SNSD facts right, Jacob.
Whatever. Well, this one came out in 2007.
That one came out in 2007.
We're not covering that album.
Anyways.
But I was gonna say, we did already do one of these without the name and the overlay. Jacob and I reviewed MFBTY's Wonderland.
Yes.
And that was our first experimental throwback album review.
Yes. So basically, we're going to be reviewing, as you can see, SNSD's first album. Nate and Andrew both own the repackaged figures.
The superior version.
I have the regular. Don't say screw this. You can't say that.
He said the superior version.
Oh, I thought you said screw your version. I was like, what?
No, this is the superior version, though.
I mean, technically, yeah. I mean, it has the same stuff plus more. So, obviously it is. But I do think this has better packaging, so let's settle that. Anyways, let's get into this review because I'm so excited. I love this album so much. Okay. Anyways.
Just ignore that.
Anyways, so I guess I'll lead this one. So, first track on the album, which is also the title track, literally the title track, of the original version of the album. The original version of the album was called Snyoshide Girls' Generation. That's the name of this song, and it's a cover of the Lee Seung-chul song.
It's an actual cover.
It actually is a
an
cover
actual
of the Lee
cover
song. And it's also the song that the group was named after. So, yeah, like just this song is like honestly one of the most iconic SNSD songs there is. It's just such a shame though, because there's so many people who like they only know like off this album they only know Into the New World, and then after that they only know like post G basically.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's so much good stuff.
Would it be weird to call this an underrated album? Because I feel like it is kind of underrated.
It is though. It is
nowadays. It is.
Yeah.
Back in the day, even back in the day, because they didn't get popular till G.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
like,
they did win music shows with this album.
Yeah, they won, but like, so yeah, I guess maybe not calling it underrated back then, but no, definitely nowadays people don't know these songs. They don't know this Soshi. Which is they exactly what Jacob said. They know Into the New World, and it skips an entire set of 3 singles and goes right to G. Mm-hmm. And all of those singles are amazing. With this, like, this song's such a great mix of like synth rock and like their Soshi's vocals. It's so iconic.
I'd like to point out also, like, the original song was like just straight up like rock. Like,
they changed
like
it and it worked.
Like a classic rock song, basically. And they definitely put their own spin on it, which I think is the best part. Like, this is definitively Girls' Generation. Like, this is easily like so I guess iconic to their style. You know?
And they're just having so much fun in the music video.
Yeah,
like,
I love the music video.
It's just everything about it's like it's just a great feeling song. It's like you said, we're gonna be saying this a lot because literally every song on this is, but it's just iconic and just a fantastic representation of Soshi.
Another thing, like the music. Another thing on the music video is like, that's always the example I give when I say like K-pop sort of is accelerating in time, whereas like it starts out like when I got into it like. They were years behind like trends and stuff in the US, and so they do their own spin on stuff. Like you look at music videos from 2007 and they look like they're from like 1995.
Basically.
So, and then nowadays like you get K-pop music videos from 2018 and they look like American videos from like 2020. They went from sort of doing their own take on current things to, a lot of times leading the trends, like before things happen. Like they still do like sort of follow on some things, but I think K-pop also is like, it always gives, I guess uniformly, it gives like a, fresh take on certain things.
Well, yeah.
So
in this day and age, K-pop, at least on the visual front, is always like on the bleeding edge of what to do. Yeah. Just in terms of music video wise. Because I mean because the concept of the music video isn't as big in
I was gonna say
America anymore. Outside of hip hop, because I feel like hip hop's still pretty big, but I mean there's songs that find popularity before even getting a music video, let alone because of the music video. So it's just sort of like waned in popularity, whereas in Korea no music video, it's not popular basically. As for my thoughts on this is probably a semi-controversial statement. I feel like maybe because of the name it might be okay, but I don't know. When I think Soshi, I think this song even more than thinking of G or Into the New World, just because I feel like this song.
Me too. I agree.
Maybe it's just because I have just so much nostalgia or just so much appreciation for this particular album and this particular song. It's just I feel like this song is what defines Soshi, and it's sort of what. I mean, granted, again, it's it's sort of what lays the foundation for what Soshi was going to be as a girl group going forward. Just everything about it is incredible. Just like, again, that how they're able to reinterpret, how SM was able to reinterpret what originally was like a straight up rock song, like a super hype rock song, into this really cool like poppy girl group song, which we hadn't really, if you're thinking about like in context of the time, it's something that you really never heard before necessarily. So it was, I mean, again, nowadays we're probably kind of bored, or I'm probably kind of bored of this sound, but again, back then this was kind of on the cutting edge. And yeah, I don't know, just I have such a nostalgia for this particular song, yeah, even more than like the songs that they're more famous for to some degree.
Well, I mean, again, to like touch on what you were saying about like the style, is like, this is basically the album that, you know, most like cute girl groups today
Oh yeah.
They
are like basing themselves on.
This
is
the girl group Bible, basically. If you listen to this album, like you will hear what influenced like all of these groups, like I don't know, just like a Lovelyz or even like an A-Pink to some degree. Like every
100% A-Pink was straight off this
every girl
album.
group that came after Soshi, like this is what they were looking towards, to like the sound that they were trying to recreate. So yeah, that's why there's such a this album holds such a significance to K-pop fans, especially us.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I liked A-Pink, was because it was their debut album was more of this album. And they did it so well.
Because, you know, A-Pink is a group that sort of sticks with a concept, typically, at least up until like recently.
Until now.
Yeah, up until recently with like I'm So Sick. That's their first like big departure, I think, from like sort of emulating this style of music. Whereas like SNSD, they've always had like a different like they're not seen as an experimental group, however, they've always had iterative like concepts.
Yeah.
Every album had
different.
a new thing going for it.
So anyways, last thing about the first track, is another thing of significance is that the original song actually came out in 1989, which is when most of the girls were born.
Yeah, which is a cool sort of fact. Which is it was all meant to be, man. Just like it's perfect, like timing and everything.
All right, so finally, or not finally, but next we have Ooh La La, which is another really really fun song on the album. Like, the bounciness of like the beat and the vocals like go so well together. It's like you know, it's definitely childish in sound, but like it's just a quality song still. Like you like can't help but have fun listening to it, and you know, singing along, and you know, it's just I feel like they're you know, I don't know. It's hard to explain for me, I guess, but yeah, it's just like, again, like every song on this album is like quintessential cute girl group song.
Yep. Yeah, like this and Kissing You are like that perfect representation of like that cute, bubbly, innocent pop girl group song. And yeah, like I agree 100%. I think the one thing that stands out for me in the song is the bridge is amazing. There's like a short like instrumental interlude, and then like, and that leads like up to the bridge, and then the bridge is just so good.
Yeah, obviously this song always puts a stupid smile on my face just because I love it so much. Again, if you're listening to like, if you're listening along with us like for the first time, a lot of this stuff, again, it's not gonna sound like we're probably giving it way more praise than it probably should deserve in this day and age, at least. But again, it's this type of music, it's just, or this album is what laid the foundation of it, which is why we just have a greater appreciation for it than what most other people that would be into K-pop would these days. So again, just go ahead.
Well, what I was gonna say is, well, you can't really knock it for that, because like in most cases, at least, this is the first time we like heard this kind of thing. Whereas like, well, yeah, like you know, groups that came before, they didn't invent the cute concept, but I think they really reinvented the K-pop girl group, and it started it back up. Like,
yeah,
for the longest time,
Oh, keep going. Sorry.
Well, like after the 90s and stuff like that, there was like girl groups weren't a huge thing. Like there was Brown Eyed Girls a few years earlier. There was Wonder Girls and Carl were starting up as well at the same time, but like Girls' Generation is what really, lived up to the name. They started the K-pop girl group like firmly back up together. Whereas, became a staple.
Yeah, they just took what their older sister group of SES was doing 10 years ago, 10 years before, and just brought that back and did it really well.
All right, so next we have the title track for the repackage, which is Baby Baby, which oddly enough it never got an actual music video.
Yeah, it's the same as Way to Go.
Way to Go, yeah, where they just sort of shot out
behind
on the set
scenes
of was that on the set of Into the New World or their photo book?
No,
it's their photo book.
There's a bunch of stuff. There's Kissing You and Girls' Generation MV behind the scenes. There's fan signings. There's the photo book for the album. So yeah, it's just a amalgamation of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. And again, like for this song, I'm gonna comment on the vocals in like every song. Like
that's
SNSD. One of the things that set them apart from other girl groups of the time is that they really, really had fantastic vocals, and like it's just like not even like. If you think about it, really, like SNSD had 5 vocalists, whereas like most groups have like 1 or 2.
Yeah, they had so much. They had so much strength to like pull from, basically. Where you're just it's not one person hard carrying any of the vocals. Even nowadays, when SNSD is just 5 members, basically.
Yeah.
SNSD is 8 members.
Well, when
SNSD OGG is 5 members.
Yeah, which is what we'll see 90% of the time. Though, unfortunately,
I think both Tiffany and Sion have been correcting interviewers by saying current SNSD member, not former.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
So, anyways. So like they have, Taeyeon, Jessica, Sohyun, Tiffany, Sunny. I think they all would be considered,
main vocalists.
Yeah. In any other group, like, so yeah, and also like on this song, specifically, the chorus just baby, 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 like it just will get like stuck in your head all day. It's 100%. It's fantastic.
It already is.
It's fantastic is a different SNSD song.
We'll get to that one eventually.
Yeah, we're eventually just gonna review all of SNSD's albums.
Yeah, honestly, we should. I want to.
100%. Yeah. But yeah, this whole like we've been saying before, this whole album has songs I compare to for certain current girl group songs, and this is like the quintessential pop ballad in my mind for like girl group songs, where it's not quite a ballad, but it's much slower than a normal pop song. I love the instrumentals in the song. Like, it's the staccato nature of it, of like the dun 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 dun, like like I love that part because it mixes so well with the nature of the singing, which is much more fluid. Just this song is so good, and I wish it had a real MV, but I mean I love the behind the scenes MVs too. But yeah, I think it deserved a full MV.
Yeah, for sure.
Is another.
Oh, never mind. I almost forgot.
Come on, man. He
still gets mixed up when he starts introducing songs.
This is another song that just puts a stupid smile on my face again. Just, and that smile starts specifically from that piano like intro. Just like it's just so powerful and just I don't know. It's really hard to sort of just like put into context how much I love just this entire album. Again, just stuff you guys covered on is like, again, the vocals on this are awesome. Just again, a lot of this is just like blueprints basically for what other girl groups ended up doing, because you got a lot of. Again, this is just another one where you just lay down the foundation of just a cutesy girl group song that's piano focused with a kind of some type of like sort of drum track in the background, with the violins in this as well as kind of just like where you could see like G-Friend pulling all of their violin soundtracks from as well. So with another song later as well, definitely being a huge influence. But yeah, again, just it feels like almost every song on this has just sort of been something that everyone has sort of either tried to emulate or sort of tried to reference back to when they make their girl group music.
Yeah. So speaking of referencing back to like songs again, like this next song, Complete. This is, as far as their group ballads, this is easily my favorite one. Group SNSD ballads, like all of them together. So yeah, this song is Complete, and like we reference this song like every other episodes, I feel like, when we do girl group reviews, because like this is the, like, I feel like this is the ballad that people always reference back to when trying to make a sort of like sentimental girl group ballad. Like, and honestly, it always works for me. I always love it when they pull back the motif of, like, I guess this song's sort of concept, and in concerts and stuff, they always like close it out with this song, or at least they do perform this song at some point, and it's usually pretty emotional because, I don't know, it's just like this is where they started, and I guess they're also saying like that's where they're gonna end as well. So yeah.
This is my favorite K-pop ballad of all time. Even more than You Are.
Whoa.
Everything about the song like is just insane and perfect. Like, the strings are great, the vocals, the harmonies, the entire ending with them like building up, leading into like Tiffany just saying "You make my life complete" to end it. Like, gives me chills every time I hear it. Every time I watch the first concert DVD, like, it makes me cry because they're all crying while they're singing it. It's just like, it's like, yeah, just this is my favorite K-pop ballad of all time. I don't ever see that being surpassed either.
Yeah, again, this is just another song that basically defines SNSD, and even after like all the stuff, everyone leaving or not re-signing, like, I feel like, this is just the message of this still remains, where ultimately, like, it's their famous line. It's like literally like Girls' Generation is something that persists beyond just all 9 members being under SM Entertainment ultimately.
Yeah.
So, it's a defining song for them, and I hope that one day, if we ever get an OT9 reunion, that this has to be on there. This has to be one of the songs that they do if they ever get all 9 members back together again, because this is
never happening.
It will happen. It's still real to me, Dave. It's still real to me. But yeah,
we'll get an OT8, but we will not get OT9.
One day.
So I guess from here we can go into track 5, which is like easily one of the cutest songs ever.
Yeah,
like, it's just like,
yeah,
it's like Andrew was saying, like, he's just got a stupid smile on his face when Baby Baby is playing. Like, that's me with Kissing You. I feel like it's like, I just love this song so much. Like the choreography with like the fake lollipops and like the music video, just like this really crappy box set, but it works so well.
Yeah,
I mean, all these music videos except for Into the New World were crappy box sets, if you really think about it.
That's literally my only comment for this song is lollipop choreo and polka dot box set are iconic as fuck.
Yep. And also like Donghae like dancing like
exactly. Yep.
It's so good. I love this song so much, and this is another one of those songs that's always a recurring song that they perform. Like back in like 2014 when they performed on Sketchbook to promote Mr. Mister, they performed this song.
Oh my god.
And they gave like the lollipops and stuff to people in the audience, and it was I love that kind of stuff. Like this is like the like fan service song for SNSD.
You have nothing else to say, Nate?
No, like yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like literally, it's just like pretty much exactly what Jacob said. Like,
oh man, again, this is another song that I definitely have a lot of nostalgia and appreciation for, specifically because this is one of the music videos that they played on the screen when we were waiting for Soshi to come out at the fan meet in 2011. And I was just like so scared. I was like, why are these people screaming at the music video and everything? And they have all the chants, and I'm just like freaking. Like 8 years later, I'm one of those idiots screaming alongside the music video if I ever get to see them again. But yeah, again, it's just another like, it's just a moment that's just ingrained in my memory. Just hearing this for the first time and being like, wow, this is K-pop. That's interesting. And like little did I know I'd end up here.
So I was looking inside the photo book and I found this. It's like, come join SM Academy.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I still have the SM Academy one.
no, see, I throw those out.
No,
I was like, no, I always
it's not
keep them
complete.
inside mine.
You have to keep everything.
Yeah.
No. Andrew, you'd hate me because every time I get any like DVD or game with a slipcover, I throw the slipcover away.
No.
Wait, what?
I hate slipcovers.
No,
because it doesn't match. I need the uniformity of every
God.
box looking the same. And
You know
if
how
some of
crazy-
them have slipcovers and some of them don't, it bothers me.
You know how crazy I am? Like Japanese CD,
The
Japanese
little-
albums,
the little
come with
slip
obi
thing.
I
strips.
kept that thing too.
I tape the obi strip onto the CD because I don't want to lose it. Like,
Yeah, I kept that with my Red Velvet album.
yeah, no, I'm not throwing that out.
Nope. I throw them away.
Anyways, next song is Merry-Go-Round, which anytime I think of this song, I just think of the opening, the opening line, which is just Tiffany going like, "Merry, take me to the merry-go-round."
I'm just like, what the
I
hell
love
are
that
these
so
lyrics? It was so
Yeah,
weird.
it's
The
like,
first time
I don't
heard
even
this.
know what that means, but I love it.
It's provocative.
It's like that episode where it's like what I think about like is like that episode of Family Guy where Sistar shows up and Peter's just like, "What is this?
I
And
don't
how
know
can
what this
make my
is, but how
entire
can I-
life about it."
It's
like,
the perfect,
like, this is me.
perfect line for anyone that gets into K-pop is, what is this and how can I make my entire life about it? Yeah.
But yeah, like this song is like the group vocals and the just everything about it. It's so nice and refreshing, and I love listening to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. This is like a great mix of the group vocals and like the string backing. The song just fits the name of the song really well.
Yeah.
It just has that feeling of a merry-go-round or something that would be played. The title just can get the song stuck in my head too because of like it being part of the
Tiffany's weird
chorus.
lyrics,
Well,
yeah.
not that part. The actual chorus is what gets stuck in my head. But yeah, like it's just another fantastic, like innocent girl group song.
This is a song I actually had to come around to in later years, just because I'd be like, oh, I'd skip this immediately, just because like the English lyrics were kind of cringe for me in my early days of K-pop. Little did I know I'd be getting songs that mentioned queso, like a couple years down the line. But yeah, no, it's obviously another song I've grown to appreciate, just because again, it's just another quintessential Soshi song that just sort of establishes like the tone and establishes such a baseline of what girl groups ended up following down the line. So yeah, it is a song that I did end up appreciating.
Yeah, I feel like that's one thing that why I like this kind of stuff is just like I feel like everyone typically is just trying too hard to be like edgy, and like I just like the pureness of like this kind of stuff. It's refreshing to me. Like everyone's like, oh, that's too childish. I was like, I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, stop trying to prove yourself to people. You know what I mean? Or prove yourself to yourself, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, next is a ballad. It's called Tears.
A ballad.
And yeah, I'd say if I was gonna pick a weakest song on any of it, I'd probably go with Tears. But that being said, I think it is a really good ballad, and like especially honestly, like typically in like SNSD ballads, Taeyeon is usually the ones that is the most memorable, but I think Sohyun actually stands out the most in this song.
Yeah, definitely.
I really, really love her vocals in this.
Yeah, I agree that this is probably the weakest song if you had to pick one, but everything on the song's amazing, or on this album's amazing. I like, the thing that stands out to me is like you were saying with NCT, like the emotion in their voices for this song are really strong.
Yeah.
Like it really fits the name Tears, which, like you said during our NCT review, is something SM's just really good at. Also, something that I like a lot is the acoustic guitar in the song. Like I think it's used really well. It's used like sparsely, and it's like in the background, like really subtle, but it fits really well when they do use it.
Yeah, again, I would agree that it's probably the weakest, but it is. This song, or them putting this song out on this album, is what eventually leads them to songs like Star Star Star, where they build upon this style of like
Star Star, Dear Mom.
Yeah,
like,
just like
all those kind of songs.
Yeah, just these super like sad emotional ballads. Like this is this is the sort of like the catalyst for what or how they end up getting better, or how they end up making those songs down the line. So yeah, that it does deserve recognition for that fact.
All right, so from there we can go back into the more I guess happy songs, which is Tinkerbell. Again, like another thing on this album is that like typically if there are like any English lines, like you can bet your ass that either Tiffany or Jessica's gonna be singing it.
Yep.
So like again, one of the things I think of like is Tiffany being, "I'll be your Tinkerbell in the sky." Yeah.
Yep.
It's just another one where like Nate was saying, "I'm merry-go-round." Like you look at the title and then it immediately gets stuck in your head. It's just so like I guess aptly named based on the hook of the song.
Yep.
And this is also another one where like in the chorus the group vocals are just fantastic. I love that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and they do it so well on this entire album. Another thing that stands out for me, I love the use of bells in this song. Like it fits the name.
Oh,
Tinkerbells. Yep.
So yeah, and then there's also some like, it's weird, there's like some really subtle funk guitar in parts of the song, which like it doesn't sound like it would fit, but it's subtle enough that like it doesn't ruin the song, and actually like is really makes the song like way more interesting.
Yeah, it was as a like newer K-pop fan, the first time I was listening to this, I did appreciate the fact that all the English lyrics in the chorus were something I could actually in a language I could understand. Maybe that's probably, honestly, that's probably a huge contributing factor as to why I ended up liking Soshi so much, is just because they're being Americans, and them, like, it might be corny in this day and age, but them shoehorning English lyrics is just enough of that sort of familiarity for me to end up one day accepting K-pop as a whole. So yeah, that's definitely a big part of why I feel like I got into Soshi, just because I feel like I could relate. Yeah, like my first, just immediately, like even, or despite me getting the Jessica picture at first, like I, just me like hearing them speak, oh, they're like Americans, like me too. That's what it was immediately relatable at first. So that's why I just garnered an appreciation for them almost immediately.
I mean, that's one thing that makes, like, usually it's weird, but like whenever I get into a group, like usually if there's an American member, I usually like gravitate towards them.
Hell yeah, stan Americans.
Yeah. But
Stan American.
Yeah, stan
unless
America.
it's NCT's case where you stan Canadian.
Yeah. Stan North Americans.
Yeah, North Americans.
NA best region.
Anyways. Another thing with this song that I'd like to point out as well is like they do a really good job of showcasing the vocals of even like the non like vocalist members of the like you know, more like dance side of the group, which I liked a lot. Like I think Yuna's verse was really, really great in this song. All right, so in this next song, we have 7989, which is only Taeyeon and Kangta, who is from HOT, which is a group from the 90s. And the
but he did
title,
solo stuff through the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like through 2000s.
Yep. and the like the title signifies the years that they were both born. So Kangta in 1979 and Taeyeon in 1989. And this is a good ballad. Like a lot of stuff that like came later that I feel is pretty reminiscent, like sort of like male-female duet, is like, for example, like Taeyeon and not Taeyeon, Suzy and Baekhyun's Dream, and like, you know, just stuff like that.
All the stuff like Soyu puts out.
Basically. So like half of Soyu's ballads are just with another like male like singer. So
yeah.
Did you have anything else to say, Nate?
Oh no, I didn't realize Jacob was done. But yeah, I agree. This is a great duet. I think Kangta's voice like fits really well with Taeyeon's. And then I like that like it's an acoustic guitar ballad, but occasionally they let the piano take the focus. So I thought that was like they do a good job like mixing it up.
Yeah.
I love this song, but for years, what frustrated me so much is that in the instrumental, there's like it sounds like a freaking like wristwatch beep, beep, just in the background the entire time, and I can never focus on
that.
I know it bothered me from day one, and every time I'm listening to this song right now, and it bothers me so I can't never get over it. It's so because it sucks because their vocals on this song are great, but all in my head I'm just like here's like beep, it's like a tick like in my head. It's just super frustrating. Like I literally like
there's a clock tick.
I need somebody to go into like Audacity or like some type of like audio editing program and just remove that sound effect completely, and I would enjoy the song way more than I do now.
Yeah, so next song is called Honey, but subtitled So On, which is what the fandom name is named after. Obviously, so On means wish, and this is actually one of the songs. These last two songs on the original non-repackaged album were both on the single Into the New World. So yeah, Honey was actually I'm pretty sure this was the first song they ever recorded together was Honey.
Oh really?
Yeah, so I think that's actually why they used So On as the name for their fandom name, because that's the first song they ever recorded as a group. That being said, again, this is another song that's like similar to like Tinkerbell and Merry-Go-Round that I feel like it's got this lighthearted feel that's like super just cute, and though this one is almost it's almost like a little like sentimental, I guess. It's like, you know, the song's called Wish, you know, that's a subtitle is Wish, So On. So I guess that kind of is what I'm going with that.
And for this song, like the acoustic guitar throughout is just amazing. I love it. And also their high notes. Like it's interesting because if this is the first song they like recorded, and their high notes in the song are just utterly insane. Like right from the start, like you knew they had like that vocal talent that like a lot of groups, like it just was above everyone else with like Taeyeon and Jessica's stuff.
Honestly, I feel like SM, like at the time, they were like, we want a female successor to Super Junior, so what we're going to do is we're going to literally take all of our Juggernaut trainees and just dump them out now. Like, so, you know, and honestly, like it definitely paid off. Like, Girls' Generation was the biggest, like basically the biggest girl group in the world for a long, long time. Like until like, honestly, till Twice came out, basically, you know? And really it started at this song, so
so I guess all I'd really have to say about this is just kind of funny hearing all these like older songs again, just because most of them were produced by Kenzie, and if you're looking at what the stuff like Kenzie's doing now, it's so different. So
Kenzie produced Wolf. Let's put that out there right now.
Yeah, she went from freaking Honey to Wolf. Like how crazy versatile is that on her end?
Kenzie is definitely probably the most prevailing probably SM producer.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she made all the classics.
Yeah,
like
she's their Teddy.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
So next is the song that everybody knows, "Into the New World." This
Everybody
is their,
should know. If you don't know
everybody
this,
should know
if you
this.
don't,
if you
know,
don't know this song, get
listen
out
to it
of
100
K-pop.
times in a row until you can it's memorized.
like even every Korean person knows the song because like it's even in modern day it's had a resurgence because
it's used in protests.
It's the protest.
Yeah,
it's the Korean
it is.
protest song. It really is.
yeah
it's used in like pride
a song
parades
for
and
change.
like a ton of things. Yeah, in Korea.
So yeah, like I think the first time I ever saw it being used in a protest was there was a scandal at Ehwa Women's University where I think they wanted to let men into the university, which like fundamentally changes the
point
like
of it being
whole
women's
point
university.
of the.
Do you remember when this
exactly.
was?
And no, it was like 2015 maybe.
Okay.
Like 2015, 2016.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Because
I think it was before the presidential election. I think.
Yeah, because
though.
I know they used it for that.
Well, because like when I was there, because it's right next to Yonsei. And like we walk through their campus to get to the subway, but like you're literally technically men aren't allowed to be on campus after like 10 p.m.
Oh,
Like so like it kind of sucked when we were coming back. Like we technically weren't allowed to walk through their campus.
giving you dirty looks. Like,
Well, no, there usually wasn't anyone around, and like no one cared. And like there wasn't ever a time where it was just a group of guys anyway. Like we were usually walking with other of the female exchange students. Plus,
then you had a lot of friends that were
like
girls.
they're just like, oh, they're white. Like
They're white.
they don't know what they're talking. They don't know what they're doing.
yeah.
But
Tourists.
yeah, that's funny that they. Yeah, I do remember that now you talk about it. But when I was there, we weren't even allowed to be on campus.
That's really funny actually. But yeah, like honestly, this is easily like in my like top SNSD songs, like just uniformly, just because like I feel like it's the again it just started everything. I feel like it kickstarted everything into perspective. I feel like, and you know the vocals, like if you want to show off like SNSD vocals like as a group, this song I feel like over anything, every member gets good verses, and you know, Hyoyeon gets a dance break, which is in the music video.
Yeah.
I don't think, is it in the regular song? I don't even remember.
I don't think it's in the. Is it?
I think it's only in the music
album?
video.
It's
in the music video and the performances, I think, but I don't know if it's on the album track. I can't remember now.
No, it isn't. I
I
just
didn't think
clicked
so.
through. Anyways, yeah, I was pretty sure it wasn't because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't.
It does kind of break the
hear
flow
that
of the
often.
song. It's so
Yeah.
random, but
I think
needed it
Hyoyeon
to
like
show
would have
off
been a
that.
waste.
Yeah,
a waste if they didn't show that off, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just like this is a timeless song. I feel like this is going to be a song that people are going to be singing and covering and playing and you know, looking back upon for like years, decades. And honestly, like for me, this is like the K-pop song. Like I know for Nate, it's probably more like G, more than this maybe, but like for me, like this is like the song. I feel like it means the most to me. So yeah, it's just there's a lot of history and like just it's just I don't know. It's a song that means a lot to me, especially. So yeah.
Nope. You're wrong. You literally stole the words out of my mouth. Like,
Oh, really?
G is the song that got me into K-pop, but
K-pop,
this is the K-pop song to me as well.
Yeah.
Like this is the representation of SNSD. This is the representation of K-pop. Like, is not really much else I could say about it other than it's the song. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
There was a moment in oh man, I'm actually getting pretty emotional about this. In the fan meet where like their special, they had a special gift for them, and it was literally to sing the lyrics of the chorus to "Into the New World" to the members, and yeah, no, even they started to cry just because it was their first fan meet in America, and they really didn't know like how it was going to turn out because like they'd never been to the U.S. before this, and again, that's the level of significance that this song holds among among K-pop fans, among the Korean like public, just like it's not too much to say that this is K-pop. This is literally K-pop. When you think K-pop, I think this song, and yeah, it'll be like this forever. Basically, like nothing will ever touch this song. Like this is, if you're like trying to think like this is like Elvis level or like Michael Jackson level, untouchable in terms of like Korean music. Just it deserves to be on that level of reverence, and it's awesome that like it just that they use it as protest songs, or it's enough of a rallying cry that they feel it's an important song to sort of embody that. And I mean, hey, like the music video of it's like sort of like all this like girl power stuff too, like they're building bikes and airplanes and dancing and all this sort of like, I don't know. I really don't know how do you explain this music video. Just like they literally just gave them, all right, this is your hobby. But okay, it was still pretty cool.
They each had a job.
Yeah, Tiffany's like trying to fix a scooter. Yeah, and apparently
Taeyeon knows how to fly planes. Apparently,
yeah. Apparently, Tiffany like asked if she could keep the scooter. Yeah, she was trying to get it so they would let her keep the scooter. But yeah,
no, that scooter belongs in like the K-pop music
museum. Yeah,
like that it belongs in a museum, like the echo like the famous Indiana Jones line, because there's just so much of this that's just everlasting and timeless. And literally, if you've never heard this song before, like, what is wrong with you? Go listen to it right now. Because, yeah, just, you could do an entire 2-hour documentary just, like, documenting, like, the historical significance and, like, the history behind this one song. Like, it's that important to Korean culture.
Like, again, like there's like really famous footage of them like singing it during the protests against Park Shin-hye, and there was like literally like millions of people in the street singing this song together.
Yeah,
it's incredible to me. So
and that says something a lot, like where like Asian culture usually gets a bad rep for like women sort of just being seen as subservient or whatever, but the rallying cry for their revolution or their protests is a song by an all-female group. So that says, again, it's a song that breaks all type of boundaries and sets all types of precedent and legacy. So it deserves all of it, and that's why that's ultimately why we love Soshi so much, just because of the impact they made.
Well, that's another thing that they sort of like represent as like girl power kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Yeah, that's literally their name.
Yeah, girls' generation. Like this isn't a boys' generation anymore.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah. Anyways, I guess from here we can go into the other 3 tracks, which were exclusive to the repackage. The first being a remix of Kissing You, which is the School Rock remix, and it sort of I'm pretty sure they do this a lot in the concert tours. They do like this version.
The remix,
yeah, I think they do.
And they basically like they replace the instrumental with like electric guitar and like stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is definitely the version I prefer because it's a rock version. And I love when we get rock versions of songs. They actually use like a really cool distorted guitar sound that I like. It's like it's a grunge guitar.
Yeah,
basically. Exactly.
It's so super muddy.
But I like it. It's weird because it doesn't sound like it would fit at all with like a really peppy like bubblegum pop song, but it does.
Yeah, I don't know if it can replace the original Kissing You, just because I feel like the violins on that are just so iconic for me. Yeah. But yeah, I love this version, and I'm sad that they didn't continue the trend of doing rock versions, unfortunately.
But I mean, they did way to go.
They did way to go, but after that, they
haven't done rock.
I need a rock version of. No, every group needs to have a rock version of one of their album tracks.
Yeah, I know.
Like that should be a mandatory.
It's like BTS's best song.
The Fake Love rock mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they went away from that, unfortunately, just because I really enjoyed these different mixes that they would do on their pop songs. And I guess it's an attempt to sort of appeal to people that wouldn't necessarily like pop music to some degree. Just like, hey, there's a rock song on this. So
yep.
Yeah. So I guess from here we can go into the long version of Let's Go Sunyoshi, which is 10 minutes long.
Yeah,
I think this is actually the longest song in my library. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Not anymore, actually.
Why?
Because Dave Grohl came out with a song that's 20 minutes long.
No,
well,
I
you
have
don't
a
have
longer
any-
song. What are you
I
talking
have a 42-minute long song because of Dream
Oh,
Theater,
really?
but
No, what I was gonna mention with this is that it laid the foundation for the best selection nonstop remix, whatever. It's like 40 minutes of Soshi in it. Oh, it's amazing. And I wish they did. This is another thing that they didn't end up doing, where more and more
What?
it's like a mega mix or like a DJ mix
Yeah.
of every song on the album, basically.
yeah, that was exactly what I was gonna say. Like, just like this is something I wish we got more of in K-pop.
Yeah.
Medley.
I think like a medley of the title tracks or just random songs like is really cool.
I mean, back when they first came out, if you want to show somebody what they're like, you can just show them
have them the song.
this 10-minute
Exactly.
medley.
Yeah. Basically, it just makes everyone's life easier.
Yep.
All right, so should we group them together? or
I did,
just,
I
like-
grouped them together on the
Yeah,
side. So
okay.
they're
It's the same thing. It's
because
just literally the same
it's just
song.
a shortened version of the. There's
Yeah.
a 10-minute version and a 6-minute version or whatever.
So, yeah, I guess we're. I don't know. Are we gonna score it or? are
No,
we
this
not
is
going to?
unscorable. This is not
Yeah.
scoreable. We don't
Yeah,
score.
I
It's
kinda agree.
infinity out of 10.
It's,
Yeah, we can't- we don't-
Infinity out of 10.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't think we'll score on auto reverse because most of the albums that we're talking about are just timeless classics.
Jacob,
so.
you should make a pink version of the Truly Daebak seal
I'll do it.
for Soshi.
Mhm.
All right, so I guess that's it. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. Like,
Yep.
just
Easily.
like even if you're not a fan of this like style of music, it's still a important, I guess, relic of K-pop history. Is like this is one of the albums that like subsequent girl groups like they really like they based their entire like concept around this album, not even just the group, this album, like just all together. It's just means a lot to me. It means a lot to So-ones and even other K-pop fans as well. So yeah, if you're a second gen stan, you know this album. You know this
Yeah,
album very
definitely.
well.
100%.
So yeah.
Chigum Sonia Shide.
Oh, Jigama. Jigama, Sonia Shide, Apollo, Sonia Shide, Youngwani, Sonia Shide,
Sonia Shide Sarang Hey.
Yeah. That's the only fan chant I know. I don't know
Yep.
any other groups.
That's the only fan
chants.
chant you need to know.
Anyways, I guess from here we can go into topic 3, which I'll hand the reins back off to Andrew for that.
Or no,
Sure.
we'll,
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Nate
Or
can
you
yeah,
guys will do it.
So so like last week we did a user submitted topic from my list of random user submitted topics that we had. Today we're gonna do Fleurs. She asked songs. She wanted to know about songs that we used to hate but grew to love. I feel like everyone has those songs in K-pop. There's just those songs they first hear and they're like, "Wow, this is garbage," and then the more they listen to it, the more they like it. So do we want to do like one each, or do we want to do like all mine and all yours? Or
Let's do all of them, I feel like.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
there's probably going to be dupes.
oh, probably. I actually only have 4.
Yeah,
there are
same.
5 really.
Okay, so yeah. The first one, and it's kind of funny because like the first 2 are literally my top 2 groups. But the first one is "I Got a Boy" by SNSD. And I think the problem, so like this was my first exposure to the whole let's put 4 genres into one song. And like when I heard it, I was like, "What are they doing? Like this is a mess. This is a complete mess." And like I just didn't understand. Like it was so different from anything they'd done before. It was like hip hop and like I just didn't even know what they were doing anymore.
Hip-hop and rock and
rock
EDM
and it was just all over the place. And-
Like that annoying thing.
Yeah, and so I just like I don't know, I just hated it, but it's definitely it's a song I've grown to love a lot. I think I just got over that whole like multiple genres in a song thing. And so now I appreciate it for what it is, which is a mess. It's still a mess, but it's a mess that I love.
Yeah, one thing about that song is like the bridge where they all are wearing like that orange wig. I hate that they took that out of the live performances. Like that's like my favorite section of the song.
I'm glad they took that out of the. I hated the wigs. You kidding me?
No, the part of the song
section
though.
Of the song.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like the section of the song, but yeah, I hated the wigs. So maybe it just like I really don't want to see it anymore. That's weird, just because I feel like that's the best vocal part of the song to be like.
Yeah.
It's not even close. So well. I mean, understandable because it's just Tiffany belting, but
yeah.
I mean, I'd say the song was. This is why I don't really like watch teasers anymore, just because I spammed the one teaser over and over and over again, where it's just like the. I thought the whole song was gonna be like that, and it was so weird to just see it like jump from genre to genre to genre to genre. So it was definitely taken aback at first. So I can understand not liking it at first, but yeah, I'd say it was maybe just because my K-pop opinion wasn't refined enough to the point where I knew what I liked and I didn't like, where because all I listened to was Soshi. I'm just like, it's this or nothing. Or this or because 21 was just like in the dark ages at that point. By the time this came out, so they weren't releasing music.
They didn't have anything up.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I like this obviously. So,
yeah. So next on my list is Dream Girls by IOI. And mostly
still hate it.
I love it. I love it a lot now, but the reason I hated it when I first heard it was because Crush was supposed to be their debut, and Crush was so good. It was
Crush is
so good.
Just imagine the start they would have gotten if they had Crush as their first single. Imagine.
Yeah. And then they were like, okay, never mind. Crush is gonna be their pre-debut single, and we're gonna come up with something new. And I was like really excited because Crush was so good, and then it like was just like pretty generic like girl group pop song. And I love that type of music, but like, and that's why I love the song now, as I've gotten over that. Mm-hmm. But it was just that, like, that disappointment at the beginning of like, literally,
Blue Balls, basically.
I was so obsessed with Produce 101, and I was so excited for this group. And then the first song was just like, this could have been so much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love it now. I've gotten over that, and I think it's still a good song.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. My stepsister, she like randomly discovered K-pop like a couple years ago, and like that was the song she knew was Dream Girls. I was like, how the hell did you know IOI? Like
of all the songs.
Yeah, they're a big group, but like that's usually not the one that people find. Mm-hmm. Like they usually find like Fantastic Baby or and now she's like only into BTS, but like it's just it's a thing. Anyways, like Dream Girls, I had a similar reaction. I didn't hate it though. I was like, man, it's okay. And then it kind of grew on me as I grew to like IOI more and more. So yeah, I can definitely see that one.
Andrew still hates it.
Yeah, I still hate it. So I have no change whatsoever.
Yeah. Next is a song you guys can actually track. You listeners at home can track my hatred into love of it, which is Love Cherry Motion.
Thank God.
Because if you go back to when that song came out and we did releases, I was like, what is this? Why? What happened? I'm so confused. And I did not like it. Just the random ass drop, like it literally comes out of nowhere. It was not expected, and I didn't like it when I first heard it. I was like, this I was liking the song. I was liking the like Carly Rae Jepsen like kind of girl pop song or whatever that's going on, and then what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
You could literally you could go back to the month this came out and listen to my reaction.
Nate's Dark Descent.
But yeah, and then you can go to our Luna episode and see that it's my number one Luna song. Yeah. So I don't know, like I hated it, and then when all of like Luna or when their other OIC or OEC stuff came out, I went back and listened to them more because I was just listening to them all as a group. And just listening to it more and more, I grew to love it. And now I appreciate its random drop out of nowhere for what it is. So yeah, that's kind of in the similar vein as I Got a Boy. Like it just like I wasn't expected, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really like it, but I grew to like it.
I mean, I loved it immediately. I loved it immediately. So I get
Yeah.
it's another thing I can't really relate with.
What about you, Jacob? Any thoughts on Love Cherry Motion?
For me, I guess I liked it to begin with. To be honest,
Did you?
I
Yeah.
think I did at least.
Someone
I don't
go listen to
remember.
the episode and then
go
tell
fact
Jacob
check
he's
it.
wrong.
You can go fact check me, but in my memory, I
You liked it.
pretty much like the song. So
Yeah. Well, I think like the reason I remember hating it so much is because it's my favorite song now. I'm just like, what was I thinking? And the last song, which there's a lot of songs in this category, but I kind of chose this one because it's pretty recent that I grew to like it, which is NCTU's Seventh Sense. And that's because, well, when it came out, I wasn't into hip hop or any of the hip hop type stuff that was going on in K-pop. I wasn't really into boy groups at all, other than
and now
Shiny.
you're a huge fan of Stray
Monsta
Kids, and
Monsta
X.
X, exactly. So yeah, like I wasn't into that type of music, and so I just heard it and I was like, this just sounds like hip hop. Like it didn't stand out to me because I just didn't really pay attention to hip hop and didn't really like it. So I just ignored it, and I pretty much ignored NCT until Limitless came out. Like, and then Limitless, like, I liked when I heard it, but I wasn't going out of my way to listen to it. But then yeah, when we saw them at KCON last year, that kind of jump started me liking. I think honestly that starting this podcast and forcing me to listen to it more got me into it. But like, yeah, that seeing NCT helped. But then yeah, when they had Seventh Sense on Empathy this year, and I like actually listened to it objectively again, I found I really liked the song a lot. And yeah, that's why you can kind of group a lot of songs into this because of that fact that I didn't like this type of music and I didn't like boy groups that much. There was a lot of stuff out there that I didn't really like. Like any of Big Bang's more hype songs, I didn't really like. I did like, back in the day, I still did like their ballady stuff and their R&B stuff. But so I chose this one just because it's more recent.
Right.
But you guys both love Seventh Sense too.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it immediately. That's what got me into NCT, and I wish they went. It took so long for them to go back to that style, which is why I was kind of mad at 127 for the longest time. But as for my list, I'll keep it simple. I'll go over the image that's been sitting here for the past 15 minutes, or is "What's Your Name" by 4 Minute, because like. All right, no, like when I first heard it, because I was really into 4 Minute back in the day, and I'd spam. It's another situation where I'd spam the teaser, and then when I heard the chorus was just completely different from like the na 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 na. I'm just like, wait, what is this? Where they just like where they just repeat the line over and over again. I'm just like, this was disappointing. But no, I've come to appreciate the song a lot.
Also, zombies.
Yeah, random ass zombies.
So weird.
I don't know what the hell Cube was on back in the day when it came to those 4 minute music videos. They were so weird. Oh man,
it was a thing.
Yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing, definitely. But I mean, yeah, it's actually one of my favorite 4 minute songs now. Surprisingly. But I'm guessing did you guys like it immediately, or did you not like it?
The only thing with 4 Minute though is like that was when they started using Brave Brothers instead of Shinsadong Tiger.
Yeah.
So like I liked What's Your Name, but then like the following singles I was getting frustrated with because they kept using Brave Brothers, and I was like, where is the sound that I used to?
Then they use Skrillex.
It's
yep.
Like, what the hell?
Hey, that's a good song.
I like Hate and Angry. But yeah, for What's Your Name, yeah, I kind of agree with Jacob. Like this started, I liked the song, but it started that era of 4 Minute where they were like moving away from the stuff I liked, because I think early 4 Minute is so good. Like Ha
like
and Mirror Mirror and I My Me Mine and then obviously Volume Up is I think we all agree is their best song.
That's another album we have to add on to
like,
that's another thing we have to review.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Also, I've been listening to Miss A's discography, and we definitely need to review either Touch or Hush, because Miss A, I feel like, is like the forgotten gem of girl groups.
I
like nobody talks about them anymore, which sucks. So we need to review it. But yeah, okay. For 4 Minute, I liked it.
Next, next we have let's see, we'll go with Love Whisper by G-Friend. Yeah, this is another one you can actually document where I actively hated this song, but I don't know, it's just it's not necessarily like I came around to the song on its own. It's just that for whatever reason, there's a lot of songs.
The chorus is so good.
Yeah, the chorus is decent, or like I have grown to enjoy the song, but mostly because it happened last year, actually, or it happened last year with Produce 101 Season 2 as well, where there's just a lot of songs that I grow an appreciation for because I hear it on Produce a lot, and one of these is Love Whisper, where I'm just like, oh, this is actually a pretty good song. Like, I don't know why I hate it. I guess I was just, again, I was really frustrated and bored with that era of her last year's G-Friend, whereas they're doing a lot of more interesting stuff now, but I still grown to appreciate the intricacy that they brought to it, just because it was, just because I saw how hard it was for, the two groups that did that song for the group battle, to just be able to nail down all those high notes, and freaking Nako killing that high note again is just sort of what cemented that song. I was like, hey, this isn't bad. I mean, I know you guys loved it immediately, or just
well.
Yeah.
At first, I was not like too high on Love Whisper. Then like 2 months later, I started listening to it because it was on one of my playlists. Or I was on a playlist that I was listening to on Apple Music, and I was like, oh my god, why did I sleep on this song? And now it's like honestly one of my favorite G-Friend songs. Especially Yuju's part, her vocals in that song especially shine, like even based upon like other G-Friend songs.
Well, I mean, yeah, Yuju's just the goddess of like high notes basically, yeah, which is why she's my bias now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for me it was more G-Friend, and I like G-Friend, so I was happy with it.
Yeah.
And to close it out, I guess it's kind of cheating because it's a Japanese song, but One More Time by Twice. Again, it's another sort of situation. It's another sort of situation where I was kind of bored with it, but maybe just in retrospect, I did end up appreciating it more just because like the instrumental is so catchy. Yeah, it ended up being released on BDZ after the fact. It was released as its own single last year, but after listening,
I have that somewhere else.
Yeah, listening to it again on BDZ, which we didn't end up getting to review, but I really it gave me a newfound appreciation for a lot of the Japanese Twice singles prior to BDZ, which I still think another song I'd probably say I didn't enjoy at first, but I have grown to enjoy just because I liked Chewie getting the main vocals.
Of course, yeah.
Nope.
One More Time was easily their best Japanese song for me, and I love it.
Their best Japanese song is "I Want You Back."
Well, that doesn't count. That's an English song.
100% that counts. They did it first.
Song.
That's a CF. That counts. All right, that's my list.
For me, I'll start off with one. Like, I guess I'll just go in.
Was there no crossovers, Jacob? Is there anything? There was anything.
Yeah, there was one crossover.
Oh, there was one. Okay.
Yeah, so the first one, I'll just start out like I guess chronologically and then loosely go in there. So like to start off, like anything by Big Bang. Like when I first got into K-pop. Yeah, wow, no, when I first got into K-pop. When I very first.
Wow.
No. When I very first got into K-pop, I didn't really like Big Bang because I only. I don't know why either. Like, cause now I like.
They were YG. They were the enemy.
Songs.
You were a Soan.
No,
YG was the enemy.
It wasn't even because of that. Because I liked 21. I don't know what it was, but I think it was like their visuals and their music videos and stuff were like really weird, especially Fantastic Baby.
Early
and that
Big
like
Bang
threw me off.
Yeah, and early Big Bang, even like up until Fantastic Baby was kind of cringy. I could agree with that.
So I wasn't really like into that, but like going back after like I'd say like after like 2012, I liked pretty much everything by Big Bang. So and it's not to say I don't like early Big Bang. It's like when I was first getting into K-pop in 2011, I was like just not into it. So going back to more specific songs, New ABO by FX. At first I didn't really
How
like
do you
that song.
hate that song?
Wow. I don't. I love that song now.
How did you hate that song?
I didn't like the na.
That's the best part.
That's the best part.
That's the best part of the
it
song.
was just I just thought it was kind of annoying at first. Also the yeah.
You're just saying all the best parts of that song.
Cooper would probably smack you right now.
I mean, I like it now. It's it's actually honestly one of my favorite songs by them nowadays. But yeah, and then also this was just upon first listen. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't a fan of it at first, which was Red Light by FX.
That's another one that I forgot to put on my list.
Yeah, that one definitely grew on me. Like, I just had to listen to it like about 10 times, and then I started to like it.
I don't know. Red Light's just, maybe it's just because I was kind of out of K-pop at that around that time. It just Red Light was it didn't click with me as immediately as like Hot Summer or New ABO or the other songs did. So yeah, I don't know. It just it just didn't resonate with me as much. So I mean, I don't hate it necessarily. It's just not a song that I go out of my way to listen to at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, now I would, because I actually really like that song, because I can kind of understand what it's doing. Like, when I first listened to it, like, it's so unpredictable and, like, strange. So,
for me, it was that same thing as, like, I Got a Boy. Yeah, it's just, like, it came out of nowhere and was doing weird things that didn't feel right.
Yeah.
But then, I've just grown to appreciate it.
Yeah. So, for the next one, this is kind of a natural progression, which is... it had a similar effect that I think Regular might have on me, is that, like, when I first heard EXO's Wolf, I absolutely hated that song. Like, I was like, how did they release this? How does this exist? And like, nowadays, honestly, I just completely love that song. It's like, it's just so fun to sing along to, and it's fun. Yeah. So yeah, EXO's Wolf is definitely one that for sure fits that sort of I guess, I don't know what you'd call it, but description of hating it at first but loving it now. Another one is Mama. Like, I originally didn't like.
What? How did it? No,
when I first heard it. This podcast. No, I'm not. Stop. You're acting like I permanently hate things. Jesus Christ.
How dare you?
No, I didn't like it at first. Like, specifically for the, like, not even because of the Gregorian chants. I didn't mind that. I actually like that quite a bit. It was the screamo part with Kai. I didn't like that.
That's the best part. What are you talking
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
No, I agree with Jacob on this one.
No, that's the best part.
I was like,
I mean, maybe it's because I'm a Kai stan, but that was the best part.
I was like, hell no, what is happening? But yeah, now I definitely love that song, and this one was more recent, which was basically anything by NCT. Like, I just, after Fire Truck, they basically stained my
but you liked Seven
opinion of
Sense
them.
though, right?
Yeah, I did. I liked NCTU, and then when 127 came out with Fire Truck, I was like, what the hell is this? Screwed. What are you doing?
I honestly, I don't know anyone that likes Fire Truck except for, actually no, wait, does Cooper like Fire?
I don't know.
No, I don't
think
we'll
Cooper
ask
does.
him. Anyways, so Limitless was specifically the song I put on there because I was just so like mad about Fire Truck still when Limitless came out. I was like, I there's no way I'm gonna like this, so I just came with the mindset that I didn't like it. And then after we saw them at KCON, I was like, wow, this is actually a good song. And NCT 127 is actually good.
Yeah, that's why we call it the NCT 127 Come to Jesus moment, where it's like seeing them live is just a completely different experience than just hearing it like on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube.
And then lastly, what I put was basically anything by Luna 1/3 or its members. Like, I remember when it was first coming out, I was not impressed at all.
Yeah, same.
Like, it's kind of just like, there's nothing sort of unique about it because I was just sort of like doing the quick one-time listen for the releases list.
That's why I don't listen to it one time.
Really didn't do it justice. I mean, sometimes there's just not enough time to do so, but
that's why I start the release list like a week before.
Like a lot of the solo tracks, as well as Sonatine or Sonatine or however the hell you pronounce that.
Sonatine.
I think Sonatine
Ovaltine.
is Ovaltine. Yep, chocolate milk. But yeah, that's basically the last of it. Is just, or I guess Luna as a whole, because Luna 1/3 came first, and I was like, I'm really not impressed by Luna. Like, you can go back and be like, hear me saying like I'm really worried about Luna, because if they don't pull anything out that's unique, they're gonna crash and burn. And I'm glad they did.
Little did we know how they'd end up like right now.
Yeah, I think the problem with that was like you said, we were listening to it during releases, which you're listening to 150 songs back then in a row. And it's just like, if it's not instantaneously like really catchy or really unique, you're just like, you ignore it pretty much. And then also the other problem I think is the most unique ones from 1/3 were in 2016 before we started the podcast. So we didn't actually get to go listen to them. Like, we didn't hear Vivid or that stuff. So
Yeah. So I guess that's basically all the things that I had on my list. So
Yep.
yeah.
So that's it for topic 3.
Yep.
Move
Topic
on
4.
to topic 4.
Andrew, take it away.
All right, so this isn't necessarily K-pop related to some degree. Well, it kind of is because they have a lot of Korean artists and K-pop artists actually that they've worked with. I just wanted to do. I'll call this topic the rise of 88Rising. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about them just really quick, just because I feel like they're as important, or just like the rise of popularity of K-pop and just like Asian culture and Asian music is just they're interwovenly tied with 88 Rising's rise in popularity, just from a different aspect where it's mostly just hip hop. So if you're living under a rock and aren't familiar with what 88 Rising is or who's under 88 Rising, 88 Rising is I can't just call them a label because they're much more than just a label, to be completely honest with you. They're like it's like this multimedia, like collective marketing company / music label sort of thing that was started by a guy named Sean Miyashiro, who I believe he was like a director or something at Vice before starting or leaving or just starting up 88 Rising. So basically, just like the whole point of it was just to sort of highlight or to help promote Asian and Asian American artists that either needed help like getting like gigs or getting like concerts or getting exposure here in America, because Sean's definitely the brains and the genius behind why 88 Rising has become so successful, just because I feel like his marketing has just been great at it. So like it started off really small back in the day. Like he actually started off with some people we were familiar with, like Dumbfounded or Occasion, who's actually signed to the Black label now, and he used to work with Brian Puspos, who's mostly famous in like the Asian dance community, that sort of thing. So it was really like humble beginnings. Like there's like a few documentaries or just like YouTube features about the start of 88 Rising, but I'd say like where it really started to just maybe make noise or make waves is when Keith Ape dropped Itchy Ma.
Yep, that's the first time I ever heard of them.
Yeah, Sean was the one that helped facilitate the remix with Dumbfounded and like
Waka Flocka Flame.
Yeah, Waka Flocka and like a bunch of other people. Yeah, so that was their first real big move in the hip hop space. And again, it was sort of, if you're thinking back to like when Itchy Ma drops, you didn't really have like the concept of like an Asian rapper that wasn't doing it as like because most of the time, like most people, like whenever you see like an Asian dude rapping, it was kind of like a joke, or like people like, oh, this is like a parody or something like that. They wouldn't, it wouldn't really be taken as seriously as it is like nowadays, honestly.
Yeah.
And I feel like 88 Rising just did they did a lot of work in sort of bringing that to the forefront.
Well, I think that's the main plus side to 88 Rising is that they're like sort of, I guess, a big force as far as representing Asian people in the like music industry and making them be taken, I guess, more seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
Because again, the ones who've been popular in the past are usually comedians and stuff like that, or like outside of them, the only ones who really did made it big was Far East Movement. So
yeah,
and they're even starting their own label, which is pretty similar to 88 Rising, which is Transparency.
Yeah, Transparent Agency, and I mean, Dumbfounded left them and left or is on his own doing stuff with his label. I believe it's just called Born Citizen, and he does stuff.
Yeah, but I think it's still through Transparent Agency though.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff to like independently, but it's sort of a rising tide lifts all boats situation where a lot of just like independent Asian American sort of labels were able to pop up once all of this happened. But I'd say the real first big hit was when Dat Stick dropped by the artist formerly known as Rich Chiga, now known as Rich Brian, and I feel like that was a watershed moment, I believe, when it came to sort of Asian hip hop artists, because everyone's like, wow, this isn't like everyone thought it was a meme at first, but everyone
it kind of was, to be honest, because he's wearing like the pink polo, he's wearing a fanny pack, and he's like this skinny Asian kid. Like I think he was literally like 16.
Yeah,
And
he was
he's,
literally
like,
16.
He releasing like the most gangster rap ever.
Yeah, he drops the N word, which he omits now from his whenever he performs that stick. But
Yeah.
it's just like I guess it's like a perfect wave situation where I feel like again, it's another thing where it's intertwined with the rise of K-pop, where there's like people were sort of starting to take Asian artists more seriously, whereas for as much as Psy helped sort of put Asian like music and K-pop on the map, it was almost an expectation. It's like, oh, you're a rapper, oh, so you must all Asian music must sound like Psy or whatever. That's sort of preconceived notion. Whereas, yeah, I feel like that stick is like a huge watershed moment where like everyone's like, oh man, he can seriously rap. Like he's no joke, basically.
Yeah, I think like usually I don't like talking about race or anything like that because I feel like typically when it's brought up, I think it's pretty irrelevant. But I think in the American like entertainment industry, I think Asians do have kind of an identity problem where not with themselves, but rather the public, like they perceive them you know, it must be a funny guy, or like, in the past, like on American Idol, there's that goofy guy like Asian guy who was, what was his name?
What was his name?
He was really bad. But he was super famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just that's how like people were viewing them, like,
or usually
they gotta prove themselves.
Yeah, they're usually just typecasted like, oh, you're an Asian person, so you must be like a really good like singer, and you must go on like American Idol and do like Broadway shit or whatever. Whereas
or you must be like a child prodigy who plays the piano wicked.
Like it was really, I'd say just like the it wasn't even just like the popularity in the music. I feel like that 88Rising sort of helped break sort of notion. It's just like the fact that like Asians can do hip hop and they can do it really good. It's just like you can. It just sort of breaks the sort of stereotype that most people have about Asian people when it comes to like what they can actually do music wise. And and again, it's something that again I feel like was intertwined so effortlessly with K-pop, whereas like K-pop it to some degree with the rise of groups like BTS and EXO, where everyone's like, oh wow, they could do all this rap stuff like pretty good, like really good. Like again, you have a lot of like hardcore hip hop fans that are like, damn, BTS puts out some really like hype shit. Like again, it's so funny to see all these people that are just sort of surprised to see this type of music coming out of Asia, when I feel like it's been around for a while, because like Dumbfounded was making music back in like 2009, basically. Like he's been like he preceded like the sort of rise of like K-pop to some degree even. So it's pretty cool. So I guess I'll just kind of go into just like some of the artists that are on the label, just like sort of like a small overview. So we've mentioned Keith Ape, and we've also mentioned Rich Brian, but they've also signed the Higher Brothers out of China. They're like a Chinese-based hip hop collective that they're definitely the most they were the most popular when I went to the concert in New York City.
They were the most popular at the 88Rising concert.
Because there was a lot of Chinese. There's a lot of Chinese.
That makes sense.
There's a huge Chinese population. So
honestly, I would have guessed that either Joji or Rich Brian would have been the most
they
popular.
were pretty popular too. But I was surprised at just how much how many people were there specifically for Higher Brothers. So. Like I said, Joji, formerly known as the YouTuber Filthy Frank, he sort of made a transition away from comedy YouTube and sort of started to do more serious music, and he partnered up with 88Rising to release it. So I've enjoyed most of his music. Speaking
of identity issues, like he sort of had a like, you could see it in his YouTube channel. Like he was making stuff as Pink Guy, but it's still sort of comedic and funny. Whereas like you could see he really was interested in making music and stuff like that. Yeah. But apparently he hesitated to make stuff under Joji because he thought people wouldn't take him seriously, which was why he actually abandoned his YouTube channel to just make music full time, because he wants to make serious stuff and have people take it seriously and see it as art, not just a joke kind of thing.
He had an entire mini album or just like an EP called Chloe Burbank that somehow got deleted off, or like you can't find it on the internet basically, outside of like illegal like random stuff, where he had the whole album up, and he just took it down, I guess, just because most people were only thinking of him as like Filthy Frank, and it's like, oh, what is this? And that's actually, he had a health condition related to that, honestly. Like he has like sort of like panic, or like he has induced seizures about related to that, where he was just sort of like stressing out about like people can't see him beyond the Filthy Frank character, and it was just
Yeah.
ruining his life. So it's just. He seems so much happier now just performing his own music, and like doing Filthy Frank, it wouldn't have been sustainable for him, honestly, because it was ruining his health. So I'm really happy that he found like his happy place in this type of music, and he's really popular still, like even doing like music under the Joji moniker. So
Yep. At first, I wasn't totally into his music, but I've honestly come around to it because it's so alternative and like
he's really into like the lo-fi sort of thing.
like I didn't really know what to make of it, but yeah, his stuff has definitely been growing on me lately. So yeah, I like his stuff.
We also have August 8 from LA. He's the only non-Asian one, but he's actually a pretty good rapper and singer too. So I love when he shows up on tracks. And then there's Nikki, who's an amazing female singer from Indonesia. She's probably she's actually my favorite, like off of 88Rising, to be completely honest. Her voice is just incredible. Probably one of my favorite non-K-pop female vocalists I've heard in years. And there's other artists that have sort of like intermittently worked with 88Rising. To some degree, like Sifika has a video on there. They've worked with Yeji, who's released music on their channel, and she's like started doing her own thing now. Hyako has like a cover on the 88Rising channel. So yeah, they do a really good job of sort of.
It was the Chet Faker cover.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I love that. That's
That's
fantastic.
an incredible cover. So they do a really good job of just like scouring like all parts of Asia and looking for artists that either need better representation or wouldn't normally have the means to sort of put themselves out there. And their tours do really well. They put on an entire 88Rising, like they put like the Head in the Clouds, like they had an entire music festival in LA where they had like Zion T and like Ko, who's like a big Japanese rapper. Like they're able to pull these like big artists from Asia and allow them and have them promote in America so much easier. So yeah, they're almost like, it's a weird thing where they're their own label, but they're almost like an intermediary, or they help artists that want to promote in America that wouldn't normally have the access or means to, just because whether it be it's a logistical nightmare just promoting in another country, just in general. And so they've definitely made it a lot easier for a lot of these artists to find an audience over here.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I feel like I definitely appreciate what they're doing too, because like, as somebody who's not an Asian American, however, somebody who does listen to Asian music often, I like what they're doing because I guess it's not that I need it, but
You're not an Asian American.
I said often's an understatement. You listen to Asian music often?
Well, yeah,
exclusively, basically.
Yes, but as somebody who listens to Asian music almost exclusively, it's not that I need it. I just need, or I just like that they're sort of, I guess, bringing credibility to the artists that, you know, I try to, I guess, give my seal of approval to. However, a lot of people still just overlook it. They're like, they still have this, like I've talked about it the past couple weeks, like they just have this like fundamental misunderstanding on what like K-pop and Asian music is. They just think it's this one like one-dimensional thing, like where everything's the same, like a lot of genres are in the US, which isn't a huge problem. It's just like it's so experimental and diverse that like you don't like hearing one song, you haven't heard everything, not even close.
You haven't touched the surface, basically.
You have no
just
idea.
By hearing one.
And I really love what they're doing, because they're showing like there's all these artists who, you know, they're artists. They experiment with their different sounds, and they have their own identity, and they don't just like blend into the background kind of thing, you know. So
yeah, definitely. That's the one thing you have to appreciate them. Like, I know, obviously, not even among K-pop fans, like hip hop or this style of hip hop that they're sort of famous for, or the style of music that they've sort of promote or gravitate towards, might not necessarily be everyone's cup of tea. But you do have to give them credit for being willing to put themselves out there in this sort of way, and just be willing to market like something that might not necessarily be popular in America. I mean, it's just only like the only appeal would probably be to like underground like hip hop fans, in which it's still a niche upon its own, and like Asian and Asian American underground hip hop is like even more of a niche. So just, it's so cool that they've been able to bring this into the mainstream. I mean, obviously, and they're gonna work with Jackson on music apparently. Like Jackson, it's cool to see the sort of interaction that they made. Like like Rapmon, he's a really big fan of like 88Rising music. Like he gave him a shout out on Instagram and everything. Like it's something that like K-pop is noticing too. Like they're noticing this model and seeing how much it works. So it's something that's going to eventually like, sort of influence. They're going to influence each other ultimately, just to like sort of further their success in America. So it's a really cool thing to see. And I don't be surprised if we get a K-pop group one day from, or like a K-pop style group one day from 88Rising. It would not be surprising if they
honestly
end up doing that, something like that.
This isn't just me saying this as a girl group stan, but I would love to see them do like their take on like a girl group, like an R&B girl group or a hip hop sort of
like
style,
G-Idol or
something like that. Like, it'd be so interesting.
I think that would stand out the most, honestly, because I feel like I don't really want them to do a boy group because I feel like
that's too hard
enough.
Yeah, it's too hard to stand out, and I think also because they'd gravitate towards more of a hip hop group. So I feel like it'd be more of a unique thing if they went for like a girl group with like sort of a style that we haven't really seen yet from people. So yeah, I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I totally. I don't know exactly how extensive their resources are when it comes to like production studios and like on staff producers. But I mean, they've got like such a good like pick of like producers and everything. I mean, like Rich Brian does his own production, Joji does his own production. Like there's a lot of people that they can turn to and that they're like they have associations with that they can help produce if they ever decide to like jump in. And that's probably
I feel like it could even be an American girl group, like, and it would
definitely
be really, really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see them sort of jump into that because that's probably the easiest way to promote a girl group in America, honestly. If they're based here and not in Korea, because again, we've seen how hard it is to get groups like, I don't know, just like Wonder Girls or Girls' Generation.
Just get them over here,
Yeah. So, Nate, you really haven't said much anything.
I have literally nothing to say on this topic because I have no idea who any of those people are, and I've never listened to any of their music.
You need
but
to.
It sounds like the company is doing a good thing, and I hope they keep doing it.
Listen to Nikki, at least. Nikki is so worth listening to. She's incredible. Like, her voice is just amazing, and you definitely appreciate it as a fan of just like R&B, like female hip hop or like female vocals. So
yeah, I mean, like I've heard songs from like releases and stuff, but it's just not something I go out of my way to listen to. So I'm not really familiar.
So yeah, I mean, just it's not necessarily something that's strictly restricted to Korean music, but I do feel like they deserve all the recognition nonetheless. So yeah, definitely check out 88Rising. I think they're still on tour if you wanted to go check them out. I think Keith Ape just recently released an album. Joji is going to release his his first full length album called Ballads 1. So there's a lot of music on the horizon if you're very interested in listening or just getting into the music coming out of this label. And I wish them nothing but the best, and I hope that they continue to do all this awesome music because they're really doing a lot for Asian Americans in the United States. So it's really cool to see this.
Yep. Well, I guess that's it pretty much.
Yep.
So thanks for listening this week. I guess subscribe if you liked what you heard. Comment
check out our Mucho Lit Discord.
Yes, Discord's Mucho Lit. Check out our other videos, all that kind of stuff. Comment your responses to stuff. We love to hear from you. So, yeah.
Twitter contest thing.
Yep, contest is still open. Please. I want to send this to people. So please let me send this to you. And nothing. I don't think there's anything else on the docket except possibly in November I might be going to HallYuCon, assuming there's actually something going through with that. We'll have to see.
Go see Luna.
Yeah, if it's true and everything, I will go down there. But that's just a tentative sort of scheduling plan for now. And I know Nate, you're going to Day 6 the same weekend, so it's going to be a busy. Yeah, we don't have much until November. Unfortunately,
might have to skip an episode that weekend or something.
Yeah, basically, we'll have to see. But
or record it super early.
Yeah. But I just, in general, I just want to say thank you to everyone that listens to us. I don't think we say thank you enough, honestly, just because we have a small community, but I genuinely do love you guys, especially our Discord homies, because a lot of that, like, it's really fun talking. I underestimated, like, we were even hesitant to even open a Discord at one point because we didn't think
we're like, would anybody even join? Like,
Discord's like all we talk in nowadays, and it's really cool to just see how our sort of small communities started to form. And if you want, and definitely, like, we keep saying that as a joke that Discord is mucho lit, but like if you really want to like sort of engage with us and engage with the awesome people that we've sort of gotten to know through this YouTube channel, definitely join. Discord's the place to be. So that's our humble plea.
Stay throbbingly irregular.
Stay mucho lit.
That sounds like you need to go to the doctor.
We mentioned Discord, so we have to end on stay mucho lit, ladies and gentlemen.
Throbbingly mucho lit.
Bye bye. His willingness to make fun of himself and put himself in like compromising situations that no other artist would ever think of putting themselves in. This isn't really spoilers because it's literally like revealed in like the first like 5 minutes of the first episode. But the entire concept of the show is that he gets assigned to the future strategy office as punishment because